If you had asked me 15 years ago, I never would have imagined that I would be a church planter. It was not even close to my top 10 priorities. Instead, I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer or even a footballer. But what a shock. Today, I'm leading a church that is thriving, and I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. Hi, my name is Pastor Shadi, and I'm the lead pastor of Nairobi Chapel Syokimau. A little over 5 years ago, I felt God prompting me to plant this church. I wasn't sure what that meant, at least at that time. Then the Nairobi Chapel, in partnership with New Thing, gave me an opportunity to train in India and in the Philippines. Oh my goodness, a great experience. But it was in India that my life truly changed. Not just because the call was so clear, but also because the mission to plant new churches was so urgent. I witnessed young, devoted men planting churches, and to be honest, I was challenged. Young people will endure this kind of persecution, hardship, to see families and communities receive Christ. One day, after ministering in a remote village in India, 3 young men approached me and they asked if I could join them to pray for an old man. They wanted me to go with them to a secret location, which I reluctantly agreed to because they were strangers and I had never seen them, so I just cautiously followed them. When I arrived, I ran into this elderly man who told me about his experiences with persecution, how people were trying to kill him for trying to bring Christ to this village. And specifically, he asked me to pray for boldness, that he will be bold to continue despite the persecution. And deep down in my heart, I thought, man, you're already old. Why don't you just go home and retire and let the young people handle this? But I didn't know how that story will impact my life. The old man, though he is unaware of it, sparked something in me that day that led me to conclude there are no coincidences with God. I'm convinced that God led me through that process, meeting that old man in order for him to clearly clarify the call and the urgency of the gospel. To cut a long story short, in 2018, I came back. I remember the first sermon I preached upon my return. Be bold. God wants us to be bold. I was fired up and ready to go, but I had no idea where to start. So I went back to God, seeking clarity on some things. And for 40 days, I prayed for these 4 things. 1, I prayed, Lord, lead me as I plant this church. The second one is I prayed, Lord, send me 10 families who will support me financially on this journey. And 3, Lord, give me a team that is bold and ready to go. And the fourth one, I said, Lord, give me a wife. Friends, in 2019, God answered all those prayers above and beyond what I expected. I got married to a beautiful wife. I got an amazing team to work with. God sent people to support the work. And above all, guys, we managed to launch Nairobi Chapel Syokimau. We call it the Syok City. I don't even have time to tell you of all the many things that God has done. Deep divine connection, divine guidance, financial miracle. Man, the Lord has continued to surprise us. He has continued to answer those prayers over and over again. And my goal in planting this church was to create an atmosphere where people would experience God, discover authentic communities, and empower them to join the mission into multiplication. And that has continued to be my motivation, my commitment, and my mission, to see strangers come together and become friends, deepen their commitment to follow Christ, and join together to spread the love of Christ. And yes, we have gone through tough times. 2 months after we launched Syok City, the 2 staff members that I had left for personal reasons. So I began the year 2020 alone, and then COVID happened. What a shock. But remember, there are no coincidences with God. So this was my be bold moment. I remember one Sunday morning during the season of COVID, we found ourselves in a Zoom service, and it was just me and my wife who was on another room. But we kept on going. We recognized that the church belongs to God, and our role was just to be faithful and keep the mission going. Just the other day, I was looking at the number of associates or volunteers that we have, and I was amazed by what God has done in such a short time. We now have over 50 active associates serving in different capacities, different ministries. And we even have some who serve as lay pastors, offering pastoral capacity for free. Man, God is incredible. God is amazing. And to all our associates, thank you. You guys are the real champions. Your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Watch and see what God will do with that faithfulness. Church, as we look back at what God has done, we have the boldness and the courage to trust Him for even greater things, because we have tasted His faithfulness and it is so sweet. So what's next for us? Over the next 5 years, as we look into the future, we want to attempt great things for God. We want to attempt to plant 4 churches, raise 200 leaders, and have a family of 1,000 committed members, including 500 children in our Bible club around Syokimau. We are calling it Vision 1000. And the goal is very simple. We want everyone that comes to Syok City to conclude this, that this is my church, and I'm going to make my church the best church it can be. Have you made that commitment yet? To making this church your church and doing everything you can to make it the best it can be? If not, I challenge you to take this step today. You have a significant gift. You have something that Vision 1000 needs. And remember, there are no coincidences again with God. If God has you here, He has a great plan. Friends, imagine a church where every person is committed to making it the best church. Imagine a church where everyone is showing up and joining in and being real. Imagine a church whose members are committed to building authentic communities. Imagine what God will do with such faithfulness. Friends, Vision 1000 is possible. All we need is for you to say, I am all in. In the next 5 years, we're looking for at least 5 acres of land to help us put together this plan. We need 5 families of church planters to come and go plant those new churches. And we need to raise 200 leaders committed to leading our life groups. With all these, we are looking to raise around 300 million Kenya shillings to help us in these next few years. My prayer to you, my friend, is that you will see the urgency of the mission, of helping people experience God, connecting them to community, and together empowering them to multiply the mission. We are better together. We can grow deep and even reach wide. I am sure that our God, who has surprised us these past years, will richly bless you as you partner with Him in reaching people for Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Syok City.